amigos y amigas de la comunidad baterística de Chile y el mundo entero. Sean muy bienvenidos a este nuevo capítulo de Conversando con Drummers. En esta ocasión tengo el privilegio, el honor de presentar a la gran baterista Dorothea Taylor, quien no necesita mayores presentaciones.
Hello to all friends of the drummer community in Chile and all around the world. Welcome to this new chapter of Talking with Drummers. This time I have the privilege of introducing the great American drummer, Dorothea Taylor, who does need further introduction.
Y estoy muy feliz de poder entrevistarla.
And also, I'm very happy to interview her. Thank you so much, Dorothea.
Primera pregunta
Thank you for
entonces.
having me.
Ujú.
Thank you.
Primera pregunta. ¿Cómo fue tu educación e inspiración en la batería, tus primeros acercamientos a este hermoso instrumento?
Yeah. Dorothea, how was your education and inspiration in your first approach to the drums?
Well, I always felt like I was a musician from the time that I was a little child. I remember my mom told me that when I was real small, she bought me one of the really small pianos, and I would cry because it wasn't making the music that I wanted it to make because I was only like 3 years old or something. So then when I was in third grade, I was 8 years old, I started to take piano lessons. And I did really well. I loved piano. And back then, there were no girls playing drums. And so I really didn't think about being a drummer yet, although we had a drum and bugle corps, a marching drum and bugle corps in my small hometown in Michigan. And I could hear the drummers practicing from my house. And I would go and I would watch them, and I was just dying inside to be a drummer. I couldn't stand it any longer. And so by the time that I had taken piano lessons for 6 years, I decided, I don't care what my other friends say, if they tease me or whatever, I'm going to go and I'm going to sign up for drums and just see what happens. And so it didn't have anything to do with school. It wasn't through the school. It was just a drum and bugle corps. And I went in the door and went and signed up to learn how to play the drums. And they didn't say anything. It was like, sure, sign up. And so it was like, oh my gosh, I can do it. And so I loved it from the first day, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. And within 3 months, I had already passed some of the kids that had been in there for a year. So I knew that, that was just something for me. I just knew that I was going to be a drummer. And so I actually stopped taking piano lessons then because I just loved the drums so much more. And then I was in the drum and bugle corps for 6 years. And we practiced a lot. During the winter, we had got together and practiced like 2 days a week, and we were there like 2.5 hours each time. And then I would practice for, hours a day at my home. And in the summer, when we would march for parades and all kinds of festivals and things like that, we were always practicing during the day as a whole group, just getting better and better and better. And then we turned out to be the best in the state of Michigan for 5 out of the 6 years that I was in there. So I got all of my rudimental training from that drum and bugle corps, and that's where I learned, traditional grip. Everybody asks when I post something on like TikTok or Instagram, they'll say, "Why are you holding your sticks differently?" And I think they're just thinking that all drummers that play drum set play matched grip like this. But when I'm working on drum rudiments, I'm always playing with this traditional snare drum because that's how they did it back in the day. They had the marching drums on a sling, and they were marching in the military, and it's just called a military traditional grip. And so all the jazz drummers use it. Most all of the jazz drummers use it, and all of the marching high school bands, and the college bands, and all the drum and bugle corps, they all use traditional grip. Unless you're playing like tenors, the tenor drums, you can use matched for that. And so I just took that knowledge that I had learned for 6 years, and I got my first drum set when I was 16. And then when I was 17, when I graduated high school, I got in my first band, and we played like 5 nights a week. And I've been playing ever since.
¿Cuáles son tus primeros maestros o referentes en la batería?
Okay, Dorothea, Mariel wants to know if you have some reference, some guides, some teachers, or some drummers who inspire you to reach more the high levels in drummer.
So many drummers. But the very first drummer that I admired was Buddy Rich. And he's just, he was just a phenomenal big band drummer that had, oh my goodness, what he could do on a drum set was just utterly ridiculous. It was so good. And so I used to watch that when I was, practicing in the drum and bugle corps. I would see him on television all the time. And there were a few shows in America that Buddy Rich was always on. And I would just drool over his playing because it was so good. But then when I was like 17 and 18, I was really into rock. So I was into Led Zeppelin. And that's when, Zeppelin was really, the thing back then. And so, I bought a couple of Zeppelin albums and started listening to John Bonham. And he was incredible. And I think I'm pretty sure he had some rudimental training because the skills that he had on his drum playing was different than some of the other drummers. He just had, he even, would play some jazz spots on his solos and stuff. So I just loved him. And then I started following just drummers that were in like Cream, that band Cream back in the day, and Iron Butterfly. This was all, back in 69, 68, 69, 70. But I also liked all of the Motown, like the Four Tops and the Temptations. But then I liked Chicago, that band Chicago, that had horns, but the drummer was just fantastic. And so there's just, over the years, it's just evolved from different bands that I've, tried to listen to and keep up. And there's now, I love Benny Greb. He just has the coolest style. He's so good. And just Steve Gadd, I like some of Steve Gadd's grooves. And oh my goodness, Dave Weckl, we did a thing at our store, and he came in and did and performed for us in our music store, and it was just amazing. And so just there's so many drummers that I've really, really admired over the years. And I used to buy the VHS before CDs came out, the VHS. So I have over there in the corner, you probably can see them behind me, there's all kinds of drummers that I would study their technique and how they did things. And then they went into, the CDs, the discs. And so I would buy the DVDs, I'd buy those. and just watch all kinds of different drummers. I like watching more than one drummer just because everybody has their own little, nuances, new styles. And that's just how I've kept up with it. And I've always tried to keep up with all of the new, they're called hybrid drum rudiments. Because the drum rudiments, there's like 40 basic drum rudiments. But the drum and bugle corps have come up with some wild, crazy hybrid drum rudiments called like cheeses and cheese de cheddas and crazy things like that. And I've always tried to keep up with knowing those, just because I've been teaching drums for so long. And if I don't try to keep up with the latest drummers, drum set drummers, then when I'm talking to a student, I think they'll lose interest because I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So I always try to keep up with the modern things. So if I'm teaching someone rudimental drummers for high school and college, I have to know what those rudiments are. I can't say, oh, I don't know what that is. You show me what that is. I'm the teacher, so I need to be knowing what all of those are. So I've been trying to keep up with those, and just, I just love listening to new music, and just to see what they're doing, what the drummers are doing, if they're really good drummers or if they're just, so-so. So I like to critique.
Excelente. Y bueno, una de las preguntas que más queremos hacerte es, ¿cuánto tiempo al día dispones de práctica?
Dorothea, how much time a day do you have to practice?
Well, my husband, he thinks that I'm practicing all the time. But I'm not really, because I'm up here in my drum room and I'm with students, and we're playing, for an hour with each student, but I'm not really practicing myself. So it's not like, I practice for hours and hours a day, even though my husband thinks that I do. But I try to have a practice pad in my lap, if I'm sitting watching TV. I'm trying to, this is the nice quiet pad. So I try to always, pick up the sticks sometime during the day and just use them on the pad if I'm not playing something on the drum set. So I probably do a lot more pad work than I do drum set work during the day.
Claro. ¿Cuáles son tus metodologías de enseñanza, principalmente cuando a alguno de tus estudiantes se le dificulta algún ejercicio? ¿Qué haces?
Dorothea, what are your teaching methodologies, mainly when one of your students has difficulty with for some exercise? What do you do with that student?
Imitación, lectura.
Imitation, lectures.
I'm not quite sure I understood.
Oh.
What do I do if a student is having difficulties with something?
Cuando
Is
le
that what
cuesta
you're
algún
asking?
ejercicio.
Yes, when you audition some specific student, and if that student have some specific problem with the exercise, with the technique, what do you do? What do you specific do? Do you have some methodology, a specific methodology, maybe some lectures, some a specific practice, imitation?
Well, if there is a student that is having difficulties with, being comfortable with multiple different stickings and etc., I always go back to stick control, George Stone stick control, because this is like learning your alphabet. This is like learning your ABCs or your addition before you learn subtraction and multiplication and all. You have to know and be comfortable with the stickings in this book because they give you every possibility of rights and lefts that you can imagine. You can't even imagine that there would be that many different stickings. It's just crazy. So if they cannot play things in this book, we go back to page 1, the first page is page 5 in the book. We will go back to the first page and start and say, look, you have to be able to play these exercises. You can't just play them at the very slowest tempo, like 70 beats per minute, because you will not be able to get around the drum kit smoothly and quickly if you have a fast song. If you're in a band, you can't tell the band, I can't play it that fast. You have to be prepared. And so I always revert back to George Stone and just start here. And then we will gradually add pages.
Para
This
mí,
is the best book.
Para mí, ese libro es como la Biblia del baterista.
Okay, Maribel said she have the same opinion like you. She, for she, that book is like the Bible of the drummer.
It is.
Yes.
It's like the Bible. If you cannot play this stuff in here, you really can't play anything, because everything that you're supposed to know as a drummer is in here. There's the paradiddle on number 5 is a paradiddle. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Paradiddle, paradiddle. It doesn't tell you that. There's nothing notated there, but that is the paradiddle. And number 6 is an inverted paradiddle where you move the sticking around, but it's still a paradiddle, just inverted. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Like paradiddle, paradiddle, and then the next one is diddle para. So you're just moving that sticking around. And you want to be able to get comfortable, because playing those just on your hi-hat and your snare, just 5, 6, and 7, you can do so much with that. You can play a whole song as a groove with 5, 6, or 7 and just mixing them around. It's just incredible what this book can do for a drummer. And then you get back in the back where you start with the flams. So you have all the different flams. There's like 5 or 6 pages of flam combinations in here. So.
Excelente.
Excellent.
Quisiera saber las marcas que utilizas o te auspician.
Sí. Dorothea, Maribel wants to know what brand that do you use or sponsor you?
O te gustan.
Or what brands like you?
Well, since my Instagram and my TikTok social media just started just going crazy, Paiste Cymbals contacted me, and so I have a full endorsement with Paiste Cymbals, which are just amazing. And then just recently, in the last week or so, I was endorsed by Promark Sticks and Evans Drumheads through Diodario. And so I'm tickled to death. So the only thing I don't have yet is a drum set.
Muy bien.
But I really don't need any drums. I have enough here.
Bueno, y por último, quiero pedirte algunos ejercicios. En primer lugar, algún ejercicio en el pad que nos puedas enseñar a nosotros los bateristas de Chile y el mundo, y otro en la batería completa. Please.
Okay. Dorothea, Maribel wants to ask you if it's possible to show us 2 exercises. First one with the technique in the pad, and the second one a general exercise of distribution of technique and speed in the whole set of the drum.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So let me explain the one that I was going to do. This is a very important exercise and it builds your doubles. It makes your doubles nice and clean. So it's a whole exercise, and you continually add. Well, first of all, you start the exercise and you move that double over 1/16 from the first one to the second, the third, the fourth. Then you add the first and the second, and then the second and the third, and such as you go along. And you're eventually going to end up with all doubles. So are you familiar with a check pattern? You start with a check pattern. You do 4 counts of 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda. Then you're going to double the first one, 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 3 E enda, 4 E enda. Then you go back to that check pattern, 1 E enda, 2 E enda, 4 E enda. So 4 counts of check in between each one, and it kind of gets you ready for that next section that you're going to do. So I'll play it, and I can even send you a copy of what this is if you need it for your students.
Okay, thank you. That would be great. Remarkable, outstanding.
Excelente.
Excellent.
It's a really, really good exercise, especially for students learning, where to put that double, and then it turns into 5-stroke rolls, then it turns into 7-stroke rolls, all within that exercise. So it's a really, really good exercise.
Oh, muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, Dorothea.
So I'll send you this page on your Instagram.
Oh, so thank you.
Okay, so I'll go back to the George Stone book and play paradiddles with the inversions in them, and just move them around the kit and just show the students what you can do just with number 5, 6, and 7, which is really fun.
Okay.
was all 5, 6, and 7, and I didn't play anything else but paradiddles there. Just paradiddles and inverted paradiddles.
Tremendo,
So
excelente.
that's why
Ujú.
I stress with students, they might think that George Stone's page 5 is just boring. But no, you have to take it from, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, and do something with it. Make it fun. Don't let it be boring, thinking, oh, I've got that, That's what students will do. They'll think, okay, I practiced it. Right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. Okay, I got it. No, you didn't get it. There's a lot more to it.
Ujú.
So hopefully, whoever is listening will understand how much fun was that. Just 5, 6, and 7 in George Stone's book on the kit. And I never played anything else but those 3 paradiddle inversions.
Excelente, muy, muy bueno. Taylor, nos dejas la gran enseñanza de que con ejercicios a veces que vemos como tan simples, podemos armar algo tan tremendo.
Dorothea, thank you so much because you give us a huge lesson because when you return to the basics, you can show the core of the instrument. So this is for Maribel. This is a very huge lesson, not also for hers, and also for the whole Chilean drummer community. Thank you so much.
Y bueno, dejamos hasta aquí este capítulo. Quiero darte las gracias, muchas gracias. Tu batería suena increíble. Muchas gracias por estar en este programa. Es un privilegio para mí poder entrevistarte.
Yes, Dorothea. Once again, thank you so much for your time, for your lessons, for your kindness. For Maribel, once again, it's a really privilege, a truly honor to have you in her show. So that's why we hope to see you soon in person.
Okay.
Hopefully. So
Y muchas gracias.
thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It was my
Bye-bye.
pleasure.
Nos despedimos entonces.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.